Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be installing the Fangs bumper wheels. Before we do that, I'm going to show you how I quickly clean off my Onewheel. So if you've seen my other videos, you will know that we recently went to Hawaii, to Maui. We took the Onewheel with us and had a ton of fun. When we came back, the Onewheel was caked with sand and mud and dirt that had dried on, and so you could see a brush couldn't take it off. I couldn't find my normal wire brush, but I'm using a snow removal brush here. But this little rubber stick, it's made of all natural rubber. Woodworkers use it to clean off their belt sanders to improve the longevity of their belt sanders. In this case, I'm using it here to clean off my grip tape. A lot of people use this for their skateboards and longboards, and so it works really well. If you have interest in purchasing a product like this, you can check out more about this in the description below. I highly recommend it. So after I finish off my cleaning of the Onewheel to restore the grippiness, I will next be moving on to installing the Fangs bumper wheels. Safety is a huge concern of mine. I want to make sure that when I'm riding or one of my loved ones or friends are riding that they are safe. And so bumper wheels seem like a very neat concept to me, and I wanted to try them out. So here it is. I am opening up the package that I received in the mail. In the small blue pouch you'll find the Fangs kit, and then here are the installation instructions. So even before you get your Fangs, if you've ordered them, something you can do ahead of time to make the process smooth and easy is you can do this little prep work here. Take off the front foot plate, and you do that by removing 4 total hex screws, 2 on the front bumper where the headlight is, and then there are 2 back at the rear of the front foot pad near the wheel. You'll remove those, and then you'll take the front foot pad up. There you'll find 2 nuts. These nuts are embedded within the wood. You want to take some thin super glue and put them around the edge of the nut, not in the middle of the nut. You don't want to do that. You want to do it around the edge of the nut. I'm using a super glue called Gorilla Glue that I already have and that I use for many of my other projects, but I'd recommend getting a different type of super glue. I think a more traditional super glue, something that's more thin so it can seep in to the wood, wick into the wood between the wood and the brass nut. And what that does is it reinforces the nut, because that is where the fang will be installed into. So you want to make sure that has a good grip, a good tight reinforcement. So you'll let that fully dry, and then at that point you want to make sure that you don't have any leftover glue or whatnot on the threads of your nut or your screw, and you can probably do a little test fit to make sure that it fits in, it screws in nicely. Once the super glue has had some time to dry, you will replace the front foot plate. Use the original screws on the top of the front foot plate and put those back in. I recommend not fully tightening them the first go around. That way you'll have a little bit of wiggle room when you install the bottom fangs. Once you get to the fangs, you will not be using the original screws. You can put those away for later. What you will be using is the 10-32 1-inch steel bolts that came with the Fang kit. And so here's the Fang kit. There are the wheels. The wheels are nice and heavy duty, and they come with some ball bearings, very similar to what you'd find in something like a fidget spinner. And then here are the Fang wheel mounts. The Fangs wheel mounts feel very solid. They are an injection molded resin or plastic. They feel very solid. Sometimes when you have the 3D printed parts or components, they can feel not as solid because what you do when you 3D print something is you print it out layer by layer, and it has less of a durable feel. You worry about delamination or the layers kind of breaking apart or peeling at the layers, whereas in injection molding you have it's just one solid mold. And so anyway, here are the wheels. They feel very solid. And then again, here is the Fang wheel mount. Also feels very solid, very durable. So what you do is you will take the wheel mount and take these rubber anti-twist pads, and I guess that'll go between the wheel mount and the bumper. And then here are the different the different screws that you will be using. And here is a washer and a nut. So prior to installing these fangs, I watched one other YouTube video, and it looked like there was some struggle putting it all together, but I found it wasn't too difficult. It actually took me about 15 minutes to do so. And so you put the screw through the fang wheel and then make sure to have the rubber anti-slip pad. And this is all very easy. Position it into the hole, and then you'll use your hex wrench to screw it into the nut that you reinforced with the super glue earlier. And so once that's installed, it should feel pretty tight. It shouldn't rotate. I guess that's what the anti-slip pad is there for. It also kind of hugs the raised edges of the bumper, and that kind of reinforces and adds additional stability. One thing I did notice is that the fangs, they do kind of cover up some of the LED lights, maybe about a 1/4 inch or so. And so it does cover up some of the lights at the edges there. So I've installed one of the Fangs wheel mounts, and here I am installing the second. And again, don't forget the anti-slip pad. I don't think they're a sticker. It almost looked kind of like a sticker, and so I tried peeling off something to expose a sticky side, but that wasn't the case. I don't think it's a sticker. Let me know if I messed up here and that it is in fact a sticker and I should have stuck it to something. But as far as I could see, it was just a little piece of plastic or rubber. And so I am installing the second wheel mount here. So at this point, it should be pretty secure, pretty tight, and they shouldn't move. Now the next part you want to make sure you do with the one wheel on its side. This will make things a lot easier for you, trust me. So take a washer, place it over the bottom hole so it's just kind of sitting there. Gravity is going to hold it in place. Take the other washer and put it on top of your the wheel there. And this is, trust me, this is going to make things really much easier. Now the washer that is resting there, take your screw and put it through the washer so that it won't move when you slide your wheel through. And try to slide the wheel and the washer on top of the wheel into the wheel mount. And once it's there, you jiggle it around and your screw should be able to go through without any problem. Now if the top washer has shifted, what you can do is use your hex wrench and just slide it back so it's in the proper position so that you can get your screw all the way through. And then after that, you'll take your square nut, put that in, and then you will tighten. I'll tell you the one thing about the tightening is you'll have to find kind of the happy place where it's not too tight but that it is secure. I over tightened mine initially, and it was too tight so that the wheel would not turn, and I had to go back and loosen it. Here it's turning, but you know, the obsessive compulsive in me later goes back and I tighten it too much. So again, when I install the top one, you'll see what I'm talking about. You take your wheel, take your screw, take your washer, rest the washer on the bottom portion of the wheel mount, and then take your screw, put it through there, just so that it's enough to keep that washer in place so that it won't move when you put your wheel in. And so hold that there, take your wheel, put the washer on top, and then together slide that into the wheel mount. The top washer may shift a little bit, but don't worry. Once the wheel is aligned, push the screw all the way through. Then use the hex wrench, line up that top washer so that the screw can continue all the way through the hole. And then you can add the steel square nut and then tighten. And then again at this point, you'll just have to find the right place where it is tight enough that it's secure, but not too tight that it keeps the wheel from rotating. And that's it. It's pretty darn simple. The installation was really easy. I really didn't have any problems, and like I said, I finished it in about, I'd say maybe more like 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. And again, I had watched one other installation video, and there was some struggle with trying to get everything aligned, but I think if you use this technique, it's going to be pretty darn easy. So as you can see, they line up really nicely. They look really nice on the Onewheel. They don't look out of place at all. They do cover the LED lights a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a problem for me. I'll have to test this out at night to see if it is an issue. And here I am loosening those screws so that I can get the wheels to rotate better. So once installed, the instructions say practice so that you can see what it feels like, and you want to be able to, you can practice this by riding your Onewheel until you have 30% battery or less. This is what the instructions say. The instructions then recommend heading up an incline and doing some fast starts from a complete stop. That way you'll be able to use the fangs when the nose of your board hits the ground. I'm excited to go give this product a try. The instructions do have a disclaimer that says no product can prevent nosedives on the Onewheel, and that this product is intended to give the rider a fighting chance if the nose of the Onewheel touches the pavement by allowing the nose to roll instead of coming to a sudden stop. So I'm excited to give this a test. Stay tuned for my full test run in a future video. Thanks for watching.